retain the post office.
We're here in Kilnaleck this morning for the community fighting back to retain their post office, and they'll be marching at the march in Dublin as well. It's a big day for Kilnaleck and rural Ireland. The fight back has begun apparently, and there's some members of the Action Committee here today. First of all, Eugene Kernan, we'll have a word with you. Eugene, why are you all here today?
We're here to show us strength to retain the post office in our local community, because we feel it's a vital part of our community, and it's unjust that it's been taken away, or that there's word of it being taken away.
And you'll be represented at the march in Dublin?
Yes, the march on Tuesday. We intend to be there and show us strength, to show that we're serious about retaining our post office in Kilnaleck.
And now Ruth Brady is here as well, a member of the committee. Ruth, long time in the town, and you were born and reared here.
That's right.
It's important that the post office is retained.
It is, it's vital, yeah, it's vital, especially to the elderly people in the area who have no transport to go to Ballyjames stuff or to the next post office, so we need to retain it.
And it's the last financial institution that you can pay bills or change money or get money in.
That's right, we lost our bank here and we've no ATM in the town, so it's vital to retain the post office for everybody.
And I'm joined now by
Kieran Clark.
Kieran Clark. Kieran, what's your take on the situation and the fight to retain the post office?
Well, I'm just one of the owners of one of the businesses in Kilnaleck. Out every road that we have very successful businesses of all sizes, varying from small turnover to quite large turnover, that do use the post office regularly. And without this, our nearest post office is Ballyjames stuff, which is going to affect businesses big time before we put somebody into a car to travel to use the post office service. So particularly fighting for the elderly and the businesses off the town.
And rural Ireland towns been denuded of business, and it's apparently they all want us to go and live in urban areas and pay through the nose for accommodation and all. But rural Ireland is fighting back.
Absolutely. Like one of the things that I would have is, like, on one hand they're trying to push you to live in towns and to restrict planning, but on the other hand then they're trying to kill the town. So like it's a mixed view that you're getting at all stages, like when you're either in the town or you're not. And for people to incentivise people to come into the town, then the town needs to be alive.
And a lot of lip service over the years from all political hues about reinvigorating rural towns, but nothing's happening.
Absolutely. Like at the end of the day, like we've a small village here with a big community with a lot of successful businesses, and at the end of the day we've been forced to other local towns to do our business, so it really doesn't make sense.
And I'm joined now by
Boylan.
Bernie, your take on the situation? Great crowd here this morning.
Absolutely great, fantastic turnout, and I mean it's a show of strength, the support that's behind the whole campaign. If you look behind you, the bank was closed down in 2013, the credit union in 2016, and as Kieran had said earlier there, on one hand, the government are pumping money into rural towns for rural regeneration, and the other hand they're taking it back with the closure of the post office. And it would appear that they literally put a pin down on a map, checked the census. They have agreed that there's 393 within this area here, which doesn't give a fair reflection of the actual population. Any town below 500 was automatically earmarked for shutdown. So we're going to really campaign against this closure.
And that thing with the census and population, or reflection of the true population in an area,
yeah.
And a lot of foreign nationals maybe living in houses and didn't return the census or didn't know what it was all about, or a language barrier.
Yeah, that's possible, but we're looking at the wider area because the zone that was looked at is just literally at the town edge here. There's 40 businesses within the town zone, 45 outside the 3 mile radius. So, I mean, the figures speak for themselves.
And I'm joined now by
Anne-Marie McPhillips.
Anne-Marie, you were on the Action Committee as well, and they'll be highly represented in Dublin with lots of placards, and Kilnaleck will be put on the map, Anne-Marie.
Yes, definitely. Sean, I work with a business in the town here. We have about 200 people employed, and it's a multinational business because we deal with Denmark and Sweden and UK, Northern Ireland. and we need the post office for posting. We have a lot of foreign nationals employed as well, and they use the post office all the time because they have no transport to go elsewhere. So I visit the post office 3 or 4 days a week. If I have to go to another post office, I have to travel. It's 2 or 3 hours out of my day. It's just a pure disgrace that the post office has been taken away. They're talking about building up rural Ireland. What are they doing? They're just destroying it.
And the quality of life in rural Ireland, all the people here this morning, a great buzz in the air, the sun shining in Kilnaleck. You couldn't wish to live in a nicer place.
Exactly, and it's just been pulled down all the time, year after year, taken away. As Bernie said, the bank was taken, the credit union was taken, now the post office is taken. What's going to be left? Nothing. And yet, businesses like ours are coming into the town, creating employment and getting no support.
And I'm joined now by Kevin Smith, another member of the Action Committee. Kevin, your take on the situation?
Sean, it's a very, very sad day for Kilnaleck and the whole community of Crishlaw if the post office goes here. As chairman of the local football club here, it's one of the most vital elements of infrastructure we have within any town or village. At the moment, all our infrastructures is in the town, and bank facilities and all that are all gone now. So it's important our community keeps building going forward, and if you take away another element of that, the post office, it'll be a very, very sad day indeed.
And the march in Dublin is going to be important, Kevin, to highlight this issue.
Yes, naturally, people power. Like we've seen in another protests and other elements, the things that the government is trying to take away from rural Ireland, and we have been successful in obtaining them structures. So hopefully next Tuesday will be another very important day to ensure that people go out there as people power to ensure let the government know where we stand in these situations.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Joined now by Pauline Tully. Pauline, you were born and bred in the area here. You're acutely aware of what a rural town needs. All the facilities been taken away. This is the last stand by the people, action by our people power, Pauline.
It is, yeah, and you can see here from the large numbers that turned out today the strength of feeling on this issue. Like we did, as others have said, seen our bank close, we saw our credit union close, and that has affected the town. It has taken business out of this town. So we want to keep the last financial institution here. It's very, very important. It also means that a lot of people have not got transport to go to the nearest post office in Ballygymstuff or Ballinger or wherever it might be. So you're actually, it's not fair on those people. It's taking away a vital service for them. And I feel the post office is a service. It shouldn't be seen as a profitable business, and that's what some post seems to be looking at. If it isn't making X number of transactions and therefore making a profit, it should be closed. That's not the right attitude. It's a service, and they need to change, I think, the criteria that they're using to support closing services such as the one in Kilnaleck here.
And I think the committee have formulated postcards here as well, and we'll have another man to talk to in a moment. They're going to fill them in and send them to An Post.
Yes, we are. It's like a postcard petition, and basically we're going to get as many people as possible to sign a postcard, and we'll send them off to the CEO of An Post, just to show him that there is a lot of people here who depend on the post office, who want to be kept open and want our village kept alive. I just feel if this closes, it's like putting the final nail in the coffin of Kilnaleck. It was going to affect adversely all the businesses here, and there's huge employment around this village and in the surrounding areas, and to keep that alive and support it, we need An Post to stay open here.
Pauline, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean.
And who are we joined by now, Kevin? Have we another man to talk to here? This man here.
Well,
yeah, can you introduce yourself? Your name is?
My name is Eugene Smith, and I have a local farm store in this town.
Right, Eugene.
And I'm here to protest against the closure of the post office, because it's another vital facility that's leaving the area. We lost the bank, and if we lose the post office, we may close and go elsewhere, because this is rural Ireland and we need it very much, and there's a very big population locally. We're getting figures that's been contradicted by most people who does an in-depth figure on it. You know, it's much higher than what the authorities say. The local population is up to 5,000 in the catchment area, and we want it to remain and leave the town viable in the future.
And you have a business here, as you say, and you were here all your life, I presume. It's a great village. They talk about putting services into post office and giving them more, instead they're closing them down.
That's correct, yeah, and I've been here and I've seen the bank go, and it was damaging to my business and to a lot of other businesses, and there's no way we want to see the post office go, because we consider there's enough of business in the area to have it remain open, and we will be protesting as far as possible.
And the area will be well represented on the march in Dublin, which is important.
Hopefully, yeah. I'm sure lots of people will travel to it, and it's very important to go out in numbers, because the politicians could find $1 million or $2 million to do something in Dublin if it was needed. There's not that much needed to keep the post offices open and the town alive in the future.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That was the committee members there and how they feel about the closure of the post office, and they're fighting to retain it here in Kilnaleck. This is Sean McMahon reporting live for the Anglo Celt newspaper, live in Kilnaleck on this Saturday morning.